Welcome to ChristiTutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP, in association with thelibertybeacon.com. And I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Lenard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. I really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show.
Hello, everybody. I'm planning on a fairly short show today. We'll see how it goes, because you know me. If you're a regular listener, I'm laughing out loud at myself because, yeah, I might say that, and then rabbit holes may open. If you indeed are a regular listener, you sometimes know a rabbit hole opens and I can't resist going down it. But today's show is titled Issue, Never the Issue. And you've no doubt likely heard it, but let me read this quote from David Horowitz. And before I say the quote, let me say that David Horowitz, still a self-professed liberal, okay? There is a difference. As I discussed in the ChristiTutionalist Politics book, and I've mentioned on the show a few times, as Dennis Prager says, and he is correct, I can be wrong and admit when I'm wrong, and indeed in saying such about all liberals, I was wrong. I was incorrect. There is a distinction. There are classical liberals like a Brandon Strzok or a Candace Owens or a Tammy Bruce or a Guy Benson or I got all kinds of pictures flowing through my head, and I can't think of their names offhand, but were red pillable, could be reached, and they woke up. They awakened from their woke stupor. So yes, Dennis Prager, much appreciated shout out for the correction, something I've been getting wrong a long time. There is a difference and a distinction between a liberal and a leftist, an ideological, I can't talk today, an ideological leftists. You're never going to reach them. They will never be shaken from their delusions. They don't care about facts. They are only about their feelings. Sadly, most liberals are too, but again, like a Brandon Strzok who tells the story of how, and aside, I'm going to laugh at myself here now. I've already opened a rabbit hole I'm going down. It has nothing to do with the issue, never the issue, but this is an important comment. Like a Brandon Strzok who received a video of the actual full Charlottesville comment by Trump in context, that Strzok only knew the distortion from CNN and the MSNBCs and other media, as I pronounce it, spell the hashtag ENEME, then lowercase DIA, media. He only ever knew that. And then he laughed. He thought, okay, I'm going to watch this, and they're just going to prove themselves an idiot. And that he, Brandon, had been right all along in his thoughts of Trump. And lo and behold, when he saw it in full context, he then awakened from his woke stupor and asked the logical question, what all else did I, Brandon Strzok, allow myself to be bamboozled into believing by leftist-controlled media? Again, not liberal media, leftist, propagandist media. At any rate, yes, for the benefit of the transcript, I'm laughing out loud at myself again for saying At any rate, that quote from David Horowitz, in case if you forgot who I was going to quote, I just went down that rabbit hole so long. An SDS radical once wrote, "The issue is never the issue. The issue is always the revolution." In other words, the cause, whether inner city blacks or women, is never the real cause, but only an occasion to advance the real cause, which is the accumulation of power to make the revolution. David Horowitz, a liberal, a Democrat, states that, and that comes from his Barack Obama's Rules for Revolution, the Alinsky Model. And actually, I am quoting that from Goodreads, the book review site. It was available on Goodreads. So I'm kind of quoting a quote of a quote of a quote of a, you get the point. Of course, in this case, with issue never the issue, it is pretending to give a damn about Gaza, folks. And just another excuse to be rioting, looting, burning here in the USA. And what spurred this is, I can't show it, I don't have the copyright authority, is Joe Zent on, I think it was Truth Social, posted a meme, the Palestinian flag, which is a farce, no such thing. There never, ever was an official nation of Palestine that had this flag. So this fake Palestinian flag, the flag these Palestinians, which again was deemed by a Roman emperor as a slur based on the biblical Philistine term as them occupying Jewish lands. So who's the real occupier here? The left doesn't know history. They don't know. They don't want to know. They don't care. They only care about their feelings. And the meme that Joe Zent had with the flag there says, "Dear terrorist supporters, the conflict in Palestine," no real such place, "is in Palestine, not in America. Go protest in Palestine. Signed, sincerely, everyone." Now, does that not just sum it right up? And he is 100% spot on. They do not have the courage of their conviction. A lot of these idiots with the Queers for Palestine signs, if they had the courage of their conviction, and I'd be happy to start a GoFundMe to help send them over there on a one-way plane ticket to Gaza to protest, would immediately be stoned to death. But again, don't let facts get in the way of the leftist delusion. They don't care. They don't know. They don't want to know. And again, as I said, this is going to be a quick show. I'm only 9 minutes in, and I'm actually going to wrap it up. The issue is never the issue. It's all about anti-Americanism, or in this case, too, yes, a lot, anti-Semitism. But if you removed Israel from this, made it any other group of people, whether it was Christianistan, full of Christians, or Buddhistan, full of Buddhists, it would still be the same thing, an excuse to protest in America because it's ultimately leftism. It's ultimately anti-Americanism, anti-Western culture. They talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. A friend of mine, Ed Bondarenka with Wham Radio, is the person I first heard say it, calls it DIE, die, because it's about killing Western culture. That's what it's about. diversity. The United States of America is the most diverse nation ever to existed on the planet Earth. Period. It's not arguable. It's not a matter of cultural appropriation. We are called on purpose the melting pot, where all kinds of people have come and blended into one e pluribus unum. You morons, look it up. Melted, blended, became our own new one unique culture made up of subparts of other cultures, not stolen, not hijacked, not I don't even know what I want to say here, but out of love, out of admiration, out of homage, we borrow from other cultures. It's not theft. So again, we are the most diverse population on the entire planet. So diversity for the left, it's a lie. They're not about it. They're anti-diversity. Inclusion, again, a lie. It is the left that segregated schools back when, and again today, the left is trying to segregate schools again. Then they blockaded Black children, Blacks from going to schools. Today, they're trying to blockade Jews from being able to go to school. And tomorrow, it could be who knows what other group. And at the same time, the leftists are peddling segregation again. I shouldn't really say again, I should say still. They have always been the party of the KKK. They created it, yet leftists have no clue. And have no clue, I'm not going to quote LBJ here because I just don't want to use the quote. I may look it up about him having those, you know what, voting Democrat for the next 200 years by bribing them with handouts. There's also the party switch myth. I guess we need to go down that rabbit hole too. There was no switch. Dinesh D'Souza does a great job in a couple of his movies. He puts all the Southern racist Democrats on the screen. All of a sudden, Democrats elected. All right? All those racists from back when. And he reveals their great switch. Less than 1% of them switch parties. The left will tell you about Strom Thurmond. Well, they got one right. And he didn't switch parties based on a change in his racist thought process. He changed for economic policy reasons. So, yeah, okay, woo, you got us. One guy. But George Wallace, when he ran as a Southern Democrat racist, the guy who said segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, ran as a Democrat president not all that long ago. They want you to believe all the racists switched to the Republican Party. George Wallace proves you wrong. Robert Byrd, I almost said Richard Byrd, I don't know why. Robert Byrd proves you wrong, but yet all these fascocrats laud the Grand Kleagle Robert Byrd. The big switch is, of course, a big lie because the left can never be honest about anything. They are still the racist party. They're still dealing in segregation, calling for Black-only dorms, Black-only graduations, Black-only this or that or the other thing. And it's all about identity politics to divide and conquer. So that was yet another rabbit hole, but these all relate. Again, the issue never really is the issue only the revolution and what manner and method they can use to divide and conquer, or buy or bribe votes, or convince others, obviously not you, convince some people to not pay attention to the history that is so readily available to see and understand. Their actions speak louder than words, right? How many times have we said on this show, you shall be known by your fruits? Stop listening to the leftist empty rhetoric and bullshit. Sorry, yes, using the word bullshit, complete and utter bullshit. They lie, they cheat, they steal. Their bills have nothing to do with what they're doing. Like the Inflation Reduction Act didn't reduce inflation, couldn't reduce inflation, because it was yet another money laundering bill to themselves, their friends, their donors, their families, lobby groups, union leadership. It was never about inflation. And of course, it did what it would do, continue to raise inflation, because they continue to print fiat currency, run up more deficits, more debt, more inflation. They lie every time. Woo! Okay. I got heated. And again, in another episode, I talked about me, the calm, cool, collected, logic and reason guy, versus today, one of those episodes where indeed the ranting and raving guy looking like a lunatic leftist. But everything I presented to you in a heated fashion is still logic, reality, and fact-based. Don't believe what I say or post online? Research what I say. Research what I post. And I'm not talking about going to CNN or the MSNBC or Mother Jones or the Huffington Poo-Poo Post or even Google. Go to DuckDuckGo, Jibberoo, or FreeSpoke search engines, because Google will, of course, elevate the left-wing slanted pieces to the top to give the left confirmation bias about their lies, their agenda, their feelings. Okay, I rambled enough. I am literally heated here. I need to step outside and cool down. So I want to thank you all for tuning in again. Let me make one last pass through I printed out, as you know, this show always is about corresponding and correlating and in conjunction with the libertybeacon.com articles. If you're looking at Jay Leonard Detroit behind the scenes sneak peek video, you can see me holding up the article, literally issue, never the issue. So I'm going to check that. You need to obviously check out the piece, because all that I covered today on the show was just page 1 of the article. There's another couple pages of other stuff here that I'm not touching on in the shows. Like they could never, ever, would never, ever really get their hands dirty, never engage where there could be consequences. Back to the protesters. They're not going to go where there actually could be consequences, right? Only engaging in blue enclaves where they know their Soros-funded ally DAs and prosecutors, I'm reading this, as you could tell probably, will not charge nor convict them for any criminal acts which are clear violations under laws they commit now in disrupting USA society. Again, what the revolution is really only and ever about undermining, destroying USA or Western culture in general. the place they are free to make utter moronic fools of themselves under our First Amendment protections. Not included there, I'll include here, we see wanton destruction of property, violence, calls to incitement, calls of genocide, again, more psychological projection. They claim Israel is engaged in genocide when they are the ones supporting Hamas, terrorists who literally have in their charter for calls for the destruction, complete destruction, erasing all of Israel. That means killing all the Jews. They're not hiding it. It's right out there for everyone to see. So thank you for tuning in. Please go to thelibertybeacon.com for all the other things on the other pages here I've not even touched on, as again, indeed, this show and thelibertybeacon.com pieces of mine are meant to complement each other. They're not duplicative, so that I'm repeating everything both places. They are for different audiences, but in actuality, I'm hoping both audiences review the other product. Those at the Liberty Beacon come to view the ChristiTutionalist Politics podcast or listen to it anywhere podcasts are heard. Just joined Audio Machine, I think it was, a new podcast service, Audio Machine, I think it is. CTP is now up there. And those of you who watch or listen to the show, please, again, I know I keep repeating myself. Go to thelibertybeacon.com. In the search field there, you could put Joseph M. Leonard. Again, Leonard looks like Leonard. It's not French. It's Leonard without an O. And I said this was going to be a short show. It's still a relatively short show, though I've now gone on a lot longer than I thought I was going to. I thought this might be a 10 or 12-minute show, but all those relative and relevant rabbit holes we needed to go down, which also kind of relate to other past CTP shows or TLB writings. So please, if you're new to the show, go back into the archives and also check out thelibertybeacon.com. Search for me, Joseph M. Leonard, in the search field for the corresponding articles, because I have articles there that go back way before this show started. So not everything that was written there has been covered in a CTP show yet. So please check them out. Thank you all for tuning in. Take care and God bless.
Thank you for having tuned in for ChristiTutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you, or autographed copies are available online direct from me via terrorstrikes.info/shop. Be sure to check out more about today's discussion at thelibertybeacon.com, where my articles drop every Saturday. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff. No fancy high production intro or inserts, at least yet, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to ChristiTutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help to grow the show.